Detroit Lions. Oh, baby, that is big time stuff. Touchdown, 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 Detroit Lions. Oh, baby, 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 baby.
What is going on, everybody? It's Tuesday, so you know what that means. Touchdown Detroit Lions over here on Syndicate Sports Detroit. I'm your host, Nick Harkson. How we doing, everybody? Say what's up once you're in here. We got a very interesting episode today. We all know what's happened. We all seen what transpired over the weekend. Bittersweet, but what's up, John Peterson? How you doing today? Good to see you in here. But yes, it is a Victory Tuesday. Joseph, hello. Good to see you in here as well. Lions won 47-9 over the Cowboys. We have not beaten the Cowboys in a long time, not in Dallas at least. And so we took care of that with a big-time easy win. And this was a statement win. They said they were going to go out there, unload the clip, and they did exactly that. I think every top skilled player on the offense scored besides Gibbs. I can be sure of that right now. Let's see who all scored a TD for us. Goff had 3 throwing touchdowns. Montgomery with 2 rushing touchdowns. Then, of course, J-Mo, Laporta, and Amon-Ra all had a touchdown as well. I mean, you can argue Leaf, Tim Patrick, but I'm talking about, top 5, okay? But, yeah, they all ate. The offense ate. And the defense played very well as well. Now, if you've been watching ESPN, Get Up, Stephen A., all that, they've been saying this was expected. And I think that we could see this too. Dallas was depleted. Who cares? It's the NFL. They're supposed to show up. They were getting called soft after this. The Lions embarrassed the Cowboys. They made them look like clowns. And Jerry Jones is losing his mind right now. He is absolutely losing his mind. I don't know if you've been seeing what's going around on Twitter, on X, whatever you want to call it. But he had a morning interview on a radio show, and he blew up on the radio host, was saying, you guys don't deserve to talk about me this way. Talk about the good stuff instead of the bad stuff. I'm going to be sure that there's somebody new on the mic next week or something like that. He was threatening their jobs. Jerry Jones, he's losing his mind. Jerry World is out of control. And, so I think we broke the Cowboys. That is a positive out of this game. I mean, another positive, of course, we went to 4-1. Mary Peterson says, great game, but a terrible injury to Hutch. And yes, that's where I was going with this. I was going to wait till a little bit more people got in here, but, that's the elephant in the room. That's what everybody wants to talk about. Hutch, terrible injury that is going to end his season. Broke the tibia and fibula. I am assuming it was a clean break. I don't think we have any further, disclosure on if any ligaments were damaged or anything like that. But they said it was a very successful surgery, and he's expected to make a return, with no complications in 2025 now. Of course, there's going to be complications. He's got a rod in his leg now. He's going to have to learn to get that comfortability playing football again and going full bore. But I think that Hutch, he's got the mental strength. He's obviously a very physically strong guy too. And he's got the support system. I think Hutch is going to make a big-time comeback. It's very early to talk about this, but Hutch, 2024, 2025, or 2025, 2026 comeback player of the year. Mark my words there. Dan Campbell even said he wouldn't count out Hutch making a comeback way earlier than he's supposed to. He said if anybody's going to do it, it's Hutch. He's got some kind of different gene in him. He's a rare breed to where if he puts that thought out there, more than likely it's going to happen. Mind over matter type of thing. So I'm hoping the best. I really hope that Dan Campbell's right there. Because this is just a devastating blow. I'm rocking my Hutch jersey today in honor of him. I wore it yesterday again, not all day, but just it's very upsetting. Hutch was the heart and soul of this defense, of this team. He really was a tone setter. He was a leader. He's irreplaceable. His skill speaks for itself. He was the top defensive player in the league so far and was on, pace to be the defensive player of the year. He was the defensive player of the first month of the season. And, he was having an outstanding year, leading the league in sacks, pressures, QB hits. I mean, the guy was just on a tear. So you hate to see this for Hutch, especially the year that he was having. And, people are saying next man up. It's got to be that way. We do have to move on. We can't dwell on this. We can't, say, gosh, what could have been without Hutch? No, we got to move on, but we got to understand at the same time too that guy is irreplaceable. There is no other Hutch in the league right now. He is, no matter who you get, you go and you get the top guy, it's not going to be Hutchinson. So, yes, I think that we will be capable of, to continue to put out good defensive performances, and we'll get more into that here soon. But this is a huge blow. Outside of Jared Goff, I would say this is the worst injury that we could have had on the team. I would say Goff would be number one just because of, you saw what Hooker looked like after he came in. And then Hutch, number two, just because of how big of an impact he makes on that defense. Every single play almost he's in there. Unless he's getting double teamed and clipped, he's putting pressure on the quarterback. He's in the quarterback's face. He was on pace to have another huge game against the Cowboys. He got a few sacks already on Dak, making an impact, but he made an impact every single game. And his run defense, is unmatched as well. He sets the edge. He loves to play run defense. He loves to defend against the run. And that's something that you don't find in a lot of edge players as well. There's a lot of one-trick ponies out there. There's guys who just rush the quarterback. There's guys who just set the edge. A lot of them can't do both at the caliber that Hutch can. As a matter of fact, very few can do that. So this is 100% a very devastating, huge loss for this team. But, we got to find a way to move forward, and I think that we will. Now, we did pick up Isaiah Thomas off the Bengals practice squad today. I think this is more of a depth move, and hopefully we still go get a starting edge. I could be wrong. They're not really showing a lot. And what's up, Rick? I see you in here. Yes, the Blue Hearts for 97. Prayers up for Hutch. Hoping the best for him. Hoping for a speedy recovery. But the best news out of this is that he did have successful surgery, and that, they're being positive, and that he's hoping, word out of the camp is he's hoping to get back for the Super Bowl if we make it there. And I know that Hutch will try his hardest to get there if we do make it to the Super Bowl, because he's not going to want to miss out on that. And like Dan Campbell said, the guy has got some different kind of gene in him to where if anybody's going to do it, it's going to be him. But we got Isaiah Thomas coming from the Bengals practice squad. And, I'm hoping, like I said, that we go get a better edge. No disrespect to Isaiah Thomas. Welcome to the team. I didn't think you were going to play football. You're a basketball legend. But I'm joking. That's been going around. I know it's probably a dad joke. It's probably old by now, but he did have some promising tape out there. I was watching Jeremy Reisman's evaluation on him, and he was, he made a few good plays. It was preseason. It wasn't anything in a real game. He did miss a tackle, and but he came back and he recovered a fumble. So I mean, he was relentless. He stayed with the play. I saw him bat down a ball. I saw him get in and take out 2 defenders. So a guy where Aleem McNeil or DJ Reader will be playing could get loose and get to the quarterback. So he's a team player, and he's all about, setting the edge for, playing the run game, doing all that. I still don't think, he's a starter. Not quite yet. Maybe he works his way into that role. Maybe this is going to be a diamond in the rough that Brad Holmes finds. I don't think it's going to be that personally. But, he can help. We need some depth. We lost more than just Hutch. And Hutch obviously is the biggest one. He's the number one factor. He's the playmaker. He's the difference maker out there. But we lost Pecco this week as well to a pec injury. And he's out for the season as well. So more hits to the D-line. More hits to pass rushers. That's Aiden Hutchinson, Derek Barnes, Davenport, and now Pecco, all lost for the season, which is just terrible because Davenport and Hutch, your number 1 and number 2 edge rushers. Barnes, the way they were using him, he was coming off the edge, rushing a lot or setting that edge on the run. That's kind of how they were using him to start this year. And then Pecco had a pretty good game until he got hurt last game. He wasn't in there very long, but he was making a difference, and I thought that he could have played a huge role for us this year. So very frustrating to lose that many people. It's 4 people, but it's significant because they're all in the D line. They're all pass rushers, and Hutch, elite. Barnes was coming into his own. We don't know what we were going to get out of Davenport, but, when he was healthy, when he was playing with us a few games, he was helping. He was looking like he was helping, and he was getting to the quarterback as well. So, not good. So, to me, we got to go make another move outside of Isaiah Thomas. Yeah, I think it was easy pickings. Not going to cost us too much. It's a depth move, but we got to get real here. Brad, it's time. It's time to make a move. I don't know if you will. I know you love your picks so much that I'm not really expecting anything massive. I'm not expecting anything massive, but I hope that you prove me wrong. We've gotten some great picks over the year. We have solidified our core. We went out and drafted Dan Campbell, Brad Holmes style of players. We have enough playmakers now that I think we can give up a few draft picks. We can afford to give up a few draft picks now to go and get somebody to make this Super Bowl run. I've heard it all day yesterday. I've heard it all day today. We're in our window. We're being called the best team in the NFC. And there's an undefeated team who we'll get to here in a second that we play this week. But if we're really... And I think we are. I mean, look at our offense. If our offense is putting up that product on the field week after week, 2 weeks in a row, 40-plus point games, we need that defense to complement, and they did very well this week. The Dallas Cowboys, they really are one-dimensional, so we knew we could go in there and shut down their run, and they weren't going to do anything else. But Hutch was such a factor that, analysts were saying if Hutch was still there after this week, we're probably the Super Bowl favorite. Now, we're still looked at as the best in the NFC, but maybe not the Super Bowl contender we were if Hutch were still on the team. They're kind of saying that we're same as we were looked at last week, which, it's heartbreaking to hear because Hutch is that type of player, and he does make that type of impact. But if we want to go and we want to win the Super Bowl this year, I think a move has to be made. I think we could still win it without it, and I'll get there, but let's go over people who could be gotten. The first one I'm going to name is the one that I want the most, who's the probably least likely and has been thrown out there by everybody. It's more of a fantasy pick than anything, but the hometown boy, Max Crosby, of course. Dan Orlovsky's out there saying, throw a first, and if it takes a second, throw a second for him. This is your time. Your window's now. Get Max, whatever it takes. Bring him home. And see what you can do with him. I think that it's probably going to take more than a first and a second. The Raiders were very adamant about not trading him before the season started. Now the season is shaping up differently. They just traded away, Devontae Adams to the Jets. They're looking to rebuild. They gave up on Minshew. They got O'Connell in there. They're not looking good. They just had a bad week. So things could change. But Max Crosby also said, he's very committed to the organization, wants to stay in Las Vegas. But, he did also say if there was any organization outside of the Raiders that he would play for, it's Detroit. I just think it's going to cost too much for Brad to pull the trigger. I would love to see it happen, though. But, I'm not giving up 3 first rounds. There's no way. I don't even know if I'm giving up 2. A first and a second, maybe. But, yeah, it's going to take a lot to get Max. I don't expect it to happen, but I would be very, very pleasantly surprised. Now, Dan Campbell also said, they're looking for a role player. He said that today. And so that's kind of like, we're not going to go out and get a star. But they can't show their cards at the same time, right? You can't be like, oh, yeah, we need a guy right now, because then someone's going to be like, well, give me everything. Give me every single one of your draft picks. You need them that bad? Give me everything. No, we got to play like, you know what? We don't need it. We got guys on the roster. Next man up. We built this roster for a reason. And I believe that Dan Campbell truly believes that. And, they're going to go with it probably a week, maybe 2. But, yeah, we can't show our cards, so we kind of got to play it, got to downplay it a little bit. So hopefully that's what they're doing there by saying, we just need another role player. And hopefully Isaiah Thomas isn't the end-all be-all. But let me get into more DNs that I could see us going after, or hopefully, that could be a possibility here because the way teams are playing and how things are playing out. Myles Garrett has been thrown out there. I think that would be great. Zadarius Smith, who's also on the Browns. Those are 2 Browns edge rushers who I think, out of the 3 that I've named already, Zadarius Smith is probably the best fit for the Lions, just of how he is. He likes to set that edge for the run as well, and he gets big-time pressure on the quarterback too. He's I think he had something around 60 pressures, and yeah, I don't know. I don't know his exact stats, but I like Zadarius Smith. I think that's more realistic. So, and the Browns are looking terrible, and they just got rid of Amari Cooper. Maybe they're looking to sell more. Myles Garrett and Zadarius Smith could be real deal options. Zadarius Smith more realistic to me than Myles Garrett. Hassan Reddick is a name being thrown around. I don't see it happening. Trey Hendrickson, if the Bengals end up losing a few more games, yes, I could see that happening for sure. He's got history with AG and DC in New Orleans. He's got that motor. He would fit the mold of the Lions, and I could definitely see him coming in and helping out. But he is going to want a big-time paycheck at the same time, so I don't know if we bite on that. But, to have any of these guys who I'm about to name and Hutch for the next few years would be a great thing. But word is, Hendrickson wants a big-time payday, so I don't know if that's going to work out. Now, Tennessee Titans aren't looking too hot either, and they got a guy, Harold Landry, who, he's not the best, but he's definitely could help out in a big way. He played with our D lineman coach just, the last few years, and the last time that he played under him, he got 10.5 sacks in the season. So that's another real deal option I could see us going after just because we got history with him. He's not a big flashy guy. He's got a few years left on his contract with Tennessee. So if he comes over to us, that'd be something that we'd have to look at. He would be a few more years with us. We'd have to pick that contract up. But it's better, I think, than, if you know what you're getting yourself into, than having to bring somebody in, pay him big time money for the year, or if you want to keep them for years to come, you're going to have to extend them on some big time money too. I see this more of a rental this year. No matter what we do, we're trying to get to the Super Bowl. We're trying to win the Super Bowl. And without Hutch, we got to get somebody who can kind of do what he did. And that's what we're doing right now, going over this. But some few other names that I see going around. Josh Hines Allen, not Josh Allen, the quarterback for Buffalo, but the edge rusher for the Jags, Josh Hines Allen. I see some people saying Cam Jordan, and I've also seen Shaq Lawson, us going to get him off the practice squad, but I don't know how much Shaq has got left in the tank. But those are just some names that I've looked around. I don't. Those are bigger names. I don't know if Brad's gonna bite the bullet. I don't know if he's gonna pull the trigger. But something needs to be done. Now I'm gonna get into the comments. I see you guys going, and then I'll get into my next question because we talked about this. It is next man up mentality. This is the nature of the league. This happens. You get brutal injuries every single year. You just hope it's not to your best player and not season ending like what happened to Hutch. So he's irreplaceable. No matter who we go and get, it's not going to be Hutch caliber. They're not going to have that same motor. They're not going to put in the work. They're not going to be the hometown hero. They won't be the same leader that Hutch is because they're going to be coming in halfway through the season. But no matter who we get, if we go and get somebody, it's going to help. But just remember, they won't be Hutch. Rick, bad teams are getting into sell mode. There's several decent options and maybe a couple elite options if Brad wants to make a trade. That's right. That's right. Now, it's all going to come down to what Brad wants to do. Is he willing to part with picks? Can we part with a later round pick and maybe a James Houston or, somebody else that could be used more on a different team that we really don't have a value for right now? I don't know, but it's all going to come down to what Brad Holmes wants to do. I think he is on the phone no matter what. I wish I knew. I wish I knew he was calling. I wish I knew what the prices were on people. That would be great intel to have, but that's why they keep it away from us because we don't need to know all that. But anyways, it's all going to come down to what Brad wants to do and how much he's willing to give up, if anything. Now, I did see Rick over here, hooker. He says Max would cost a minimum of 2 firsts and a hooker. Of course, we mean Hendon Hooker. We're not talking about anything else over here. This is family friendly, okay? But yes, it would cost a lot, and Hendon Hooker could maybe be a valuable asset to them. But then we're without a good backup quarterback. Fromm maybe could be decent, but I don't know. Hendon didn't look great when he came in later in the game, but then again, at that point, I wasn't really paying full attention. I was more concerned on Hutch. It was a bittersweet win. I mean, what a win to get 47 on the Cowboys, 47-9. They don't score a touchdown. We just completely, demolish them, embarrass them. But then you have Hutch go out. Ah, man, it was so bittersweet. It was so bittersweet. I could be like, yeah, we kicked the Cowboys' ass. And then I was like, oh, man, Hutch, no. It was bad. It was bad. MSU Detroit fan Trey Hendrickson for a second. I wouldn't mind that if that's all it takes. I know a second is valuable. We've gotten very good picks in the second round. Brian Branch, Sam Laporta. I could go on. Ennis Rakestraw. We've gotten a lot of really good picks in the second round under the Brad Holmes regime. But yeah, we've also had a history of some really bad second round picks. Prior to this, and we still do. Some of the second round picks are still trying to pan out under Brad, but yeah, I would give up a second for Trey Hendrickson. I would do it. Now, if we want to keep him around, he's going to cost some money, but if it's a rental, whatever. 1 year, let's win a Super Bowl. Let's do it, bud. Hatter's House, what's up? Lions finally won by 1 million. That's what it seemed like, right? Yeah, that was a great victory, great overall performance for the offense, though. They needed that. They wanted to come out and make a statement. Now, using all those trick plays, hopefully they have some in the arsenal. I think they will. I don't think they showed everything. And even if they did, they're creative. They'll get back to it. They'll show you what's up. We'll have more up our sleeve. I completely trust that. MSU Detroit fan, really missing John Comiskey now. Yeah, and unfortunately, the timetable for him is looking, closer towards playoffs. earliest like end of the season is what I looked that up today, and they were saying the realistic return time for John Cominsky is playoff time. So that really sucks. But if we get to the playoffs, that is promising as well that we will have the commish back by then. So, do what we got to do. Get to the tournament. Get to the playoffs. I'm only calling it a tournament because Dan Campbell calls that. I've never heard a pro coach call the playoffs the tournament before until Dan Campbell. I don't know. I like the playoffs. I love that. But we get there and we'll get more help back. We're still got guys, and maybe Barnes is back by the playoffs. We don't know if he's coming back, but if he did have a big year last year in sacks towards the end of the year, we blitzed him a lot. He really did help get after the quarterback when he was in there. So when he comes back, I expect more schemes and stuff like that, drawn up for Iffy to come in and get at the quarterback. So, Aaron Glenn, he's gonna have to switch it up. We're gonna have to switch it up here. We have more talent now. There's, no more excuses. Our secondary is much more solid. We probably got the best safety duo back there with Kirby and Brian Branch, who both had outstanding games, by the way. Kirby Joseph should have had 2 picks as well. The one got taken away. They called the holding on Alex Angeloni. Maybe it was, but it was such a terrible pass that it shouldn't have mattered anyways. But then Brian Branch coming up with 2 huge picks too. The first one in particular, I think, if they score there, it could have been a whole different game. So that was huge. But, I think this defense, we do have enough playmakers to step it up. We're just going to we're going to look way different. We're going to have to play a different kind of defense than what we have, just relying on Hutch to get in there and set the tone. We're probably going to have to blitz a lot more. MSU Detroit fan. So basically our edge room is down to Josh Paschal, James Houston, Isaiah Stewart, Isaiah Thomas, and Isaac Ukwu. Yeah, it is. Yeah. We need help. Lord, if you're listening, help. Like, that's why I don't think this could have the Isaiah Thomas signing cannot be our only signing. We need more. We need more. Now, Ukwu did show some promise. He wasn't getting in there like Hutch, but he was getting better each rep. I think he'll get better each game. Maybe by the end of the season, we got a force to reckon with there, but we'll see. We'll see. If we get Jags edge, we probably have a better chance at getting Trayvon Walker than Josh Allen. Yes. So I forgot to say Trayvon Walker. Wouldn't that be something if we got the 1 and 2 pick from a few years ago on our team, and then they go to work together for a few years to come here after this. Now, he hasn't proven to be the guy that they went out and got, but I would take him. We need help. I saw him get a few sacks already. He's starting to get better. Bring him on over. I don't care. We need help. Rick, whoever it is needs to be under contract through 2025. I'm with it. And I agree. I 100% agree, but I would love to see whoever we get. If it is, a big name, I want to see him here another year. I want to see him with Hutch. But let's talk something. Some analysts are saying if we don't go and get a Max Crosby or a Myles Garrett or somebody who's a playmaker type on that edge, that we are no longer Super Bowl contenders. How do you feel about the Lions winning the Super Bowl now that Aiden Hutchinson is out for the season? Is he that big of an impact that we are now you don't see us winning the Super Bowl this year? It's more of all right, next year, when he comes back, and the edge rusher that we get this year to help replace him is more realistic next year now. Because I've been seeing both sides, more so on non-Lions fans saying that we're done now, and Lions fans staying optimistic, which is good. Because I'm one of the optimistic ones, and I think that we can definitely still win a Super Bowl without Hutch. Now, it's going to be harder. Hutch was a factor. He was one of the main playmakers out there. Probably the best player on the team, arguably. Best player on the defense for sure. It's not easy losing a guy like Hutch. But we are a team. It takes 11 players. And just like I mentioned a few minutes ago, we have other playmakers on that defense now. Kirby Joseph coming into his own. Brian Branch, 100% top-tier safety in the league. Kirby is too. Those two are, I think they're ranked 4 and 5 right now in the league. Anzalone's a beast. Jack Campbell's getting better every game. You know, Terrion Arnold improved tremendously this last game. I thought he had a great game. And then you got Amik Robertson in the slot who's playing well, and Carlton Davis, who I think has played very well as well. So, you know, the line is depleted, but the rest of the defense, we have enough playmakers to where we can scheme some things up. We'll make enough big plays throughout the game, each game, and we should be good to go. Sorry. I've been waiting for that sneeze this whole episode. But all right. Oh, gosh. All right, where was I? But yes, my allergies are going crazy. Fighting back tears from Hutch. That was a few days ago. But I still think we're Super Bowl contenders, and I think we're still the best team in the NFC right now. I don't care about Minnesota being 5-0. We saw some flaws with them against the Jets, and we're going to get our chance to prove ourselves against them this week. We're going to see what our defense is looking like without Hutch this week as well, and I personally don't think that we're going to go out and make a big-time move for Max Crosby, Trey Hendrickson, Myles Garrett, Zadarius Smith, for any of those guys this week. I think that we're going to play it out. I think we're going to see how we look after a week or two, maybe, if we have that luxury. And then we're going to go from there. You know, the trade deadline is getting closer and closer, so we can't wait too long. But, yeah, you know, we're going to go with what we got against Minnesota. This is going to be a true test. I think this is a big-time game, one of the most important games of the season. The winner of this game takes full control of the NFC North as of now, but we got to keep winning. The NFC North is on fire. Now, I do think some of the teams haven't played much competition, so their records, you know, might be a little fraudulent there. But as of right now, we're the best division in NFL. Minnesota at 5-0. Lions at 4-1, Bears at 4-2, Packers at 4-2. So we got to keep winning. It's tough. Minnesota, yes, they look tough. They have a good defense. They have an explosive offense, but I don't see Sam Darnold sustaining the same success that he's had early on this year throughout the entire year. You know, he kind of got exposed against the Jets there, kind of got exposed at the end of the Packers game. So there's a formula to beating them now. And I think we're going to do just fine against them. Yes, their defense is good, but I think that, you know, our run game is so powerful. I don't know who's going to be able to hang with us. You know, eventually we're going to break big ones. We're going to get through. We're going to bully you. We might be battling. It might be tough in the trenches for, you know, a little bit, maybe a quarter or two, maybe a series or two, but eventually we got the guys. We're relentless where we're going to bulldoze you over. And once that happens, the play action's open, forget about it. There's nobody in the league who can hang with our offense the way that we're rolling right now. So that's another reason why I think we're still Super Bowl contenders too. But Minnesota, I see this one being, you know, a very close game. Without Hutch, it's going to be hard the first game without him. The boys are going to be playing their hearts out for Hutch. But I do see this one being close. But we come away with the victory. Now, I'm going to give you my prediction. And go ahead and throw your predictions in the comments if you want. I got the Lions winning in a close one. 31-27. 31-27. We're not going to be able to do whatever you want at will like we did against Dallas. That was amazing. I loved that we were trying to get a touchdown to a lineman. I mean, we had Skipper out there running routes. That was amazing. That was absolutely hilarious. But, yeah, it's going to be a close game. We're in Minnesota. It's going to be tough. But I see it coming down to a defensive possession. Kirby or BB coming away with a big-time interception again this game to seal the deal. But 31-27 is my prediction. As long as we stick to our guns, don't try to get too cute on offense. Run the ball, ground and pound, play action, open it up. I think we'll be fine to take care of Minnesota. They haven't got a loss yet. They're due for a loss. Division rivalry. Yes, they're at home. But look what we just did to the Cowboys. Now, yes, they're much better than the Cowboys. But we love going into other people's houses and taking over. Oh, this your recliner? Nah, this is mine today. Today, you're cooking the meals for me. Get in the kitchen. All right? Minnesota. Sorry. Oh, my allergies. Oh, my God. I promise I'm not crying over Hutch. All right. Rick, losing the best defensive player in the league will be difficult to overcome, but we're far from out of it. Win it all for Hutch. Yes, I agree. And that's a very good point there, too. He was is the best defensive player in the league. He was on pace to win that defensive player of the year. It was looking easy for him. And he got more sacks this game. It was in the bag for him if he stayed healthy. And maybe the Super Bowl was too. But, we like to make things a little bit more difficult on ourselves. But, yes, win it for Hutch. And I'm not going to get in it next year. Because we got to win it first. But good point there. Hatter's House Lions by 1 million. Love to see it. Love to see it. But how are we feeling about the rest of the North? I don't like it. I don't like that the rest of the North is winning. But I think we're going to start to see some true colors show here soon. We got Minnesota this week. I think everybody believes in us, the Lions. They believe in the Lions. The analysts, all the announcers, everything, they think that we're a top tier. They're not doubting Minnesota, but they're like, this is Minnesota's first real test. They played a banged up Niners team. The teams that they played, they have played some good teams, but this will be the first test. And I think, for us too, this is going to be big time game. They're 5-0, division rival, trying to take the lead of the division right here. Who's going to step up to the plate? Who's going to be the big dog and take that leadership role? I think it's going to be the Lions. But then around the NFC North, the Packers play the Texans on Sunday. It is in Green Bay, but the Texans are good. We'll see how for real Green Bay is here. They will have that home field advantage, but CJ Stroud and the boys, they don't play around. We got them in a few weeks too. So yeah, hopefully they can take care of the Packers though this week, because we need some of these other teams to start losing. Then, of course, the Bears got the bye, but then after the bye, they got the Commanders, who I think the Commanders will humble them a little bit. You got number 1 overall pick versus number 2 overall pick, and I think the number 2 overall pick is going to shine and say, hey, I should have been the number 1 overall pick. Look at me. I'm better than you, Caleb Williams. Go paint your nails and cry about it. But, yeah, I think, some of these teams haven't seen a lot of very, crazy competition. They've played the Titans. They haven't played a ton of tough teams yet, so they've got some tests coming up, including us. Our schedule does not get any easier. I guess the Texans, or not the Texans, the Titans, if you want to say they are an easy game, but they just won. They just got a W. No game's easy in the NFL, so we can't overlook anybody. But, yes, we got Minnesota, the Titans, but then we got Green Bay, and then the Texans. So 3 out of the next 4 tough games. 3 out of the next 4 on the road. The 3 out of the next 4 that are tough are all on the road. After that, we got the Jaguars at home. That'll be good, I think, I hope. Then we go to Indianapolis. Then we got the Bears, Green Bay, and Buffalo at home. Then to end out the season, the Bears, the 49ers on the road and Minnesota at home. So a very tough schedule ending it out. I did see that we have the second hardest schedule remaining in the NFL right now with the win-loss column the way that it is. So not going to be easy, but, who said it ever was going to be? How do we want it? We won it hard. Trod the hard road. You know what I mean? Only love Rastafari bring. That's a song by the Greens, sorry. But, you take the hard road, it's more rewarding. It's going to build character. It's going to have us ready to go come playoff time. We make it there. But as of right now, I like where we're at. I like where the offense is now, finally putting up huge numbers back-to-back weeks. Goff, the second quarterback in NFL history, alongside Drew Brees, the only two quarterbacks in NFL history to have back-to-back 150-plus QB rating during the game. QBR rating. So, yeah, QBR. Very impressive. Seattle, he had the perfect game, of course, and then this one he had 153.4. I'm not sure, but very impressive. Only two quarterbacks in the history of the NFL since they started recording this have done this. Goff and Drew Brees. Elite company there. But Goff's also up for FedEx Air Player of the Week. Go and vote for him. He's up against Jordan Love and Caleb Williams, so division rivals. Go vote for a boy. Get him in there. I'm starting to glitch here, I see. Maybe I've been doing that all episode. I hope not. But, yeah, if you got any questions, let it be known. Otherwise, we're going to roll into Week 7. And we're going to be coming for those necks, Vikings. We're going to be coming to take you down. You got the lead for now. But this is the Lions division. We're the Kings of the North. And you're about to find out on Sunday. All right, everybody. No questions, no more comments. I'll see you next Tuesday. Oh, and this, for everybody who's here, I have a doctor's appointment next Tuesday at the normal time I would be here. I'm going to go an hour and a half later. It's nothing concerning. I just have to go. It's for an annual thing, and it's for my job. So, and the only time they could get it was then, and I have to get it before a certain time. So, can't be here at 5 p.m. Detroit time next week. I will be here at 6:30 p.m. Detroit time next Tuesday. 6:30 p.m. Detroit time next Tuesday. 5:30 Central time. 3:30 West Coast. But all right, y'all. Lions by a million, says Hatter's House. Hope you'll have a great week. Prayers up for Hush. Prayers up for Hutch. Sorry, I can't speak today. Allergies are going crazy. But let's go Lions. And enjoy Victory Tuesday. Peace.
Touchdown Detroit Lions!